A doctor who treats childhood trauma tells the story of Justin. For the first 11 months of his life, Justin was raised by a loving grandmother. After her death, he was left in the care of her boyfriend Arthur, who lacked child-rearing knowledge and raised Justin in a cage along with his dogs. By age 6, Justin was unable to speak or walk. This case was significant in demonstrating the effectiveness of Perry's model once appropriate interventions, such as a safe environment and proper therapies, were introduced. Another one is James's case. James, a 6-year-old boy, exhibited severe medical and behavioral problems, including running away from home, jumping out of moving cars, and attempting suicide via drug overdose. He was initially diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder, RAD. However, James confided to the medical staff that his mother was lying and harming him, asking them to call the police. This case revealed that his mother had Munchausen by proxy syndrome and was harming him to gain attention. Perry's approach emphasized the importance of listening to the child to understand their true experiences and needs. And lastly, Peter's case. Peter was born in a Russian orphanage where he received minimal interaction, leading to significant deficits in language and social skills. When he started school in America, he was prone to long, frightening, and aggressive outbursts, and his peers feared and avoided him. After Dr. Perry explained Peter's background to his classmates and the reasons behind his behaviors, the children began to include him in activities, arguing over who would partner with him. This supportive peer interaction significantly aided Peter's improvement. These case studies show different aspects of trauma and the importance of appropriate therapeutic approaches tailored to the individual's developmental needs and circumstances, which is what today's book is all about. There's a 4th case study in the book, the most harsh of them all, but let's leave that out for that same reason. Anyway, hey everyone! In today's video, we're diving into The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog by Dr. Bruce Perry and Maia Szalavitz. This book takes us on a journey through some of the most shocking and inspiring cases of childhood trauma that Dr. Perry encountered throughout his career treating traumatized people. Each story reveals powerful lessons on how trauma affects the brain and behavior. By the end of this video, you'll understand why kids behave the way they do after facing trauma, and learn how understanding the neurosequential model of therapeutics can help us support them better. Whether you feel traumatized at some point in your life or have someone close to you that was, stick around, because we'll also cover how Dr. Perry's groundbreaking approach can lead to recovery and hope for a brighter future. Let's get started. What is trauma? Trauma can happen when something very upsetting happens, like the loss of someone close, witnessing violence, or experiencing neglect or abuse. Not everyone who experiences these events will feel traumatized. Factors like when the event happened and the support they get afterward play a big role. In the past, experts believed children weren't as affected by trauma as adults because they thought children were very resilient. Recent studies, however, show that trauma can affect children even more deeply than adults, particularly if it happens early in life. About 40% of children in America face traumatic events before they become adults. Our brain grows in stages, starting from the parts that control basic body functions to the parts that handle emotions and complex thinking. A young child's brain needs regular and loving interaction from caregivers to develop properly. Neglect or abuse can disrupt this growth, affecting how the child responds to stress and manages emotions. Our body has a natural way to react to danger, mainly controlled by the oldest parts of our brain. This reaction can make us ready to run away or fight, hyperarousal, or help us to endure pain by making us numb, dissociation. These responses can interrupt thinking and focus, which is why traumatized children might find it hard to concentrate. Like a muscle, our stress response grows stronger and more controlled the more we use it. However, if it's triggered too often or too intensely, it can lead to long-term psychological and physical issues. For infants, every new experience is a form of stress. Responsive caregiving, like feeding when hungry or comforting when upset, helps infants learn to manage stress. This early interaction is crucial for emotional development and the ability to form healthy relationships later in life. Physical affection is vital for infants. Without enough touch, infants may not grow as expected, a condition known as failure to thrive. Emotional neglect can prevent children from learning to connect with others, which can affect them throughout their lives. As children grow, their experiences form deep connections in their brain, influencing how they react to similar situations later. Helping children recover from trauma involves creating new, positive experiences that can override the negative past experiences. Now, let's explore treating childhood trauma. Perry's neurosequential model of therapeutics. Dr. Perry developed the neurosequential model of therapeutics based on the idea that children's brains develop in a specific order. If a child misses a developmental step due to trauma like abuse or neglect, this step can't be skipped. For instance, if a child doesn't interact with others early on, they might struggle with language skills later. Brain development builds on earlier skills. If an early milestone is missed, later skills based on that milestone won't develop correctly. Therefore, treatment for traumatized children should be based on their developmental stage, not just their age. Effective therapy should be regular and predictable. Be tailored to build on the child's existing skills. Be directed by the patient, allowing them to engage voluntarily. Therapeutic Steps 1. Understand the patient's history and the trauma they experienced. 2. Assess the patient's current strengths and needs. 3. Create a treatment plan targeting these needs. 4. Adjust the plan as necessary based on the patient's progress. It's crucial to treat children in a safe environment where they feel secure. This promotes better learning and healing. Just like we saw in Justin's case in the intro, Justin was severely neglected and raised inappropriately, which stunted his development. Initially raised in a loving environment by his grandmother, he later lived with her boyfriend, who lacked child-rearing knowledge and kept Justin in a cage. When Justin was brought to a hospital, Dr. Perry created a safe environment for him, which included consistent caregivers and therapies like speech and physical therapy. Justin responded well, showing rapid improvements in his social and motor skills. Children's accounts of their experiences can be crucial for effective treatment. For instance, the other boy named James was misdiagnosed due to adult misconceptions. Only by listening to James did the doctors understand his actual needs and start appropriate treatment. Children can also help each other heal. Perry here describes the third case I told you about where a child, Peter, once ostracized, was better accepted by peers after they were educated about his background. This acceptance played a significant role in his recovery. Perry emphasizes the importance of community in child rearing. Historically, communities played a large role in raising children, which is something modern society often lacks. Enhancing community support could help address many issues related to childhood trauma. Finally, reflecting on trauma and its impacts can truly deepen our understanding of human behavior, and Dr. Perry's insights offer valuable perspectives. Here are some thoughts and reflections based on the guide you've been reading. One of the more unexpected things from Perry's model is the idea that trauma can halt or disrupt the sequential progression of brain development. This means that a child who doesn't receive the appropriate stimuli at a critical time might not only miss developing certain skills, but could also be unable to effectively build future skills that depend on those earlier ones. This challenges the common misconception that children will catch up naturally as they grow. Consider a scenario with a friend from high school who always seemed to act much younger than their chronological age. This behavior might have been confusing or frustrating at times. According to Perry, this could be a manifestation of arrested development due to trauma, where they didn't progress past a certain developmental stage emotionally or socially. This could have been a stress response, freezing their emotional growth at the stage when trauma occurred. If you had known about the potential impact of trauma on your friend's behavior, your response might have been more compassionate and patient. Understanding that their seemingly immature behavior could be a protective response to unresolved trauma might have led you to support them in seeking help, or simply offering a more understanding friendship. The principle that treatment should be based on developmental, not chronological age, is particularly enlightening. It suggests that behaviors linked to trauma are better understood and addressed when we consider a person's developmental stage rather than their physical age. This principle can foster greater empathy and patience, encouraging a more supportive approach towards those struggling with the aftermath of traumatic experiences. By applying these insights, you might find new ways to approach and understand people around you, enhancing relationships and potentially aiding in the healing process. This reflection not only broadens personal awareness, but can also contribute to a more compassionate society. Wow, what a journey we've been on today. The boy who was raised as a dog has shown us that trauma doesn't have to define a child's future. Dr. Perry's neurosequential model of therapeutics teaches us that with patience, understanding, and the right therapeutic approach, even the most broken childhoods can heal. Whether it's about creating safe environments like in Justin's case, listening to children like James, or building supportive communities like Peter's classmates did, each story is a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit. Remember, the key takeaway here is that every child deserves love, care, and a chance to thrive. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear these uplifting stories. Let's spread a message of hope and healing together. Until next time, keep caring and stay hopeful.